Oh, yeah. Can you feel that, buddy? Huh? 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 I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear. Losers?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. This shit over. That's it, bro. Like, I don't know what you gonna do in your life, but I hope you figure it out and get right with who you gotta get right with. Cause this shit is over. It's done. Done deal. I don't mean it to be negative or cynical, and I'll get to that at a later date, because this ain't the conversation for that, but yeah, I've been having a couple epiphanies myself the last few weeks, maybe even months. I mean, I guess you should always have them, but a couple, I think, life-changing epiphanies. But like I said, this ain't the conversation for that. I guess I'll share one with you guys. I have a certain naiveness to the way I think. I know people might not think that about myself, but I've been, like I said, I don't know if I've said this on record, but this show is about self-awareness, and I'm one of those people who champion being aware of yourself. So I spend a lot of time looking inward. I have always been a tad bit of a naive thinker because I always factor in what people should do, what's supposed to happen. But as naive as I can be with my thought process, I'm also very realistic to the point that if I know that if what should happen and what's supposed to happen happened, then we wouldn't have anything to talk about. Now, would we? We wouldn't be online arguing all day, would we? We wouldn't have politicians debating for our numbers and our data, would we? So, while I'm very naive in my way of thinking, I'm also very unrealistic in this is what it is. And it's irreversible. But, again, it's another conversation. I guess I just started off with that because I see the naivete in my kids. And I was taking the role of a parent that was trying to coax them out of that. And if I'm almost 40 and I still know that I think with a certain naivete, why do I think I can productively coax them out of that? Shit, not realistic, man. And I think that's why in my younger 20s, I walked the line of agnostics and atheism, most of it. I mean, there's a history behind that, and I'll get to that in a second too. I always say that in episodes. I always be like, I'll get to that later, and I never get to it. But today, we gonna get to it, man. Greetings, and what up, though? You're watching Uncle Vic Rants. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to rant. I just did a episode of my new weekly show. I don't even know what I call it. Like, I had a brain fart moment, man. The Weekend Rap, where I take all the pop cultural musical stuff and I put it there. And we talk music over there every Saturdays. And on Wednesdays, today, we gonna rant. So, like I said, in my 20s, man, I walked the line of agnostics and atheism, where I didn't quite believe in a God, I didn't understand. And if you asked me now, it would probably still feel like, based on my answer, it would probably still feel like I walked that line. Because when people ask me what my religion is, I tell them it's the religion of I don't know. Because I don't specifically follow a religion. And I believe religion is one of the worst things that ever happened to mankind on the planet. I don't believe I don't believe the way the system is, well, I'm not even going to talk about systems. We'll get to that in a second, too. I don't believe that we celebrate it or I don't believe that we've structured it the way it's supposed to be structured. And that's where I'll start, right? It's hard to say any of this because I'm sure I'm not gonna make nobody feel comfortable with this, but I'm over making people feel comfortable. What the fuck does it matter anyway? But 15 to 25 people watching this show anyway. And that doesn't sit well with me. And I'm not coming here to like, subscribe, rate you niggas to death. You ain't gonna do it. And I feel like that's a part of our makeup as far as, oh, that nigga ain't gonna tell me what to do. Nah, I'm not gonna like it now just cause you asked, nigga. Like, cause we all feel like can't nobody tell us nothing. And that's a big part of the problem with our communicational skills. And I ain't finna sit here and soapbox you niggas to death either. I'm tired of talking to humans about what humans should be doing or what's supposed to happen. We all know better. We know what's supposed to be happening and what's not supposed to be happening. And if you don't, there are mediums where you can go find it out. How did you get so grown without finding it out? I understand there are certain situations that create these people that just don't have ignorance is truly bliss. Ignorance is truly bliss. I never understood the content of that saying until I grew into this part of my maturation, where you can be blissful in your ignorance to the point where, yo, I don't have to know this shit and I don't want to know it because that gives me an excuse to walk around and be as ignorant as I want to be. Or, you know, how I wanted to say it, ignorant. Because ignorant and ignorant is two different things. Ignorant is like, let me perpetuate all of my bullshit onto you and blame everything else. That's ignorance. That's why it's blissful. Because you can walk around in that and feel like, and look, that ain't what I'm here to talk about. I got to get better with that. I never finish sentences. I'm always all over the place in my thinking. But for a long time, it was hard to even convincing me that the Bible was real. And I study all types of, look, I got a habit of pulling out books. Look at this is a book for the 5%ers. You got Qurans, Bibles, all types of books around here because I feel like we should study them all. In my opinion, everybody, like I said, religion is the most tainted system. I feel like there's been more blood spilled over religion than gangbanging, poverty, any of those urban communal problems they place on our community and say it's so bad with America. I feel like religion has been spilled, blood has been spilled over religion more than any of that. Any of the things. Maybe except cops killing black folks. But those are that's neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? But Man, religion, right? It's a touchy subject. I'm tap dancing around it now because they say, oh no, I've been told already. If you gonna have a podcast or you gonna have a YouTube show or you gonna be a blogger, what you don't want to do is talk about religion and politics. But we here, and it's all the same thing to me. There ain't a politician who they have to swear in on Bibles when they become the president, correct? Everything in the Constitution is one nation under God, and God. Y'all use God. Meanwhile, all these rules, we know what the rules say. But, yeah, man, I have a very, there's an awkward ambiguity to my relationship with church, religion, God, I guess. I think it's safe to say that I was raised in it. Even though my family that raised me isn't very religious. But I'm one of the probably a few people that I know in my upbringing to have been able to go kick it with both sides of his family. So when I went to see my dad's side, that was a requirement, it almost felt like. If you go to my aunt's house for the weekend, you going to church Sunday. Now, I didn't particularly care for it because I wasn't raised in it. And my grandmother, like learning later on in life that my grandmother had a tumultuous relationship with the church due to my great-grandmother and some things that she experienced that I won't talk about in front of no camera because it was way before my time. Excuse me. I've heard bits and pieces about it, but I'm not educated enough to get on here and speak for my deceased grandmother's story about her relationship with the church. All I know is that she didn't fuck with them people. And unfortunately, through my experience coming up in church with the other side of my family, I understand why. Because, and like I said, I'm always the person that champions contradiction and a little bit of hypocrisy. But nah, man, the level of hypocritical shit I seen in the church just felt gross, felt dirty. You know what I mean? And let's just get to it, man. The Bible like almost feel comic bookish to me. If I'm just keeping it real, it's almost comic bookish. It's talking snakes and it's, yeah. Look, as a person that studies a lot of mythology and a lot of different religions, and I'm not going to question anything that happened in times where my parents' weren't here for. Who knows what type of things happened? I understand how beautiful a higher power is. And as a person who's went through trials and tribulations with legal stuff, with my own personal demons, with being out here doing too much in the streets, I know that there's no way possible I could be sitting here talking to you without my grandmothers and my aunts and my mama and all of those people's prayers, because there was a time where I wouldn't pray for myself or nobody else. I've seen oceans that run into each other but don't merge. I've seen how I've been blessed enough to travel this world and see how beautiful it is. I still have a lot more traveling to do because there's a lot of places I have not seen, but I've seen things with my own eyes that can't be nothing. It can't be anything more than the higher power that created it. Us, even the human body. I said this in an episode earlier at some point. You got to be a fool to wake up here one day and look at these fingers, these toes, these limbs, your reflection, and not question why you here, what are you, why are there so many more of you, and why are we all so different? There has to be a higher power. So this ain't me condemning God. This is me saying that there are a lot of religions or a lot of different people using religion as a shield to be the worst possible things you could be. And in the name of their God, everybody's, oh, my God, my God, my God, my God. That is one of the most, in my opinion, insulting sayings ever. But I don't knock nobody, man. This ain't about knocking the Bible thumpers. Because however you get to God is how you get to him. I don't knock you for that. But unfortunately, when you come up in Christianity, Catholicism, all these different religions or whatever, I'm pretty sure Catholicism is Christianity, but whatever. But you get into all of these different pockets of religion, they always have a condemnation for somebody. They're the quickest people that I've seen to condemn somebody else. So I'm not knocking them, but I guarantee you a bunch of them whoever watches this and sees me talking about this will condemn me because what I'm saying is not absolute enough for them. It's not definitive enough for them. You better not question that Bible. Oh, you better not talk about nobody church, especially no black folks. Black folks will kill you over their church. And I don't understand it because you were taught this religion by the same people who did not even want you to learn how to read the book. They used the book to weaken you. And don't nobody love the Bible more than some broke niggas and some niggas trying to sell Jesus to some broke niggas. That just is what it is to me. And you have these fellowships and congregations that meet together to praise and worship this God, hoping they get, or I'm not going to say hope because I can't speak to what nobody hopes for, but in the sense of God rewarding them. God rewarding them. And if you don't follow all of these rules, use the proper verbiage, just live the life that this book set for you, or in our judgmental mind, the things we think you should and should not be doing, we condemn you. Jehovah's Witnesses will completely disfellowship somebody. It will completely tell you, you can't come here anymore because you don't live the way we see fit. How is this type of rhetoric indicative of what any of these gods in these books stand for? And everybody, my God, my God, my God. Why ain't this your God? He, she, whatever, because in my opinion, I don't think God is a he. I think God is an entity. And that entity, to me, would more than likely resemble the traits of a woman. But that's just me. I don't know. I subscribe to I don't know. I ain't died yet. I ain't been to no gates. Well, even when I did, I can't come back. I can't come back from that and say, oh, I went to the gate and Peter and Paul and Jacob and all them dudes was there and they told me to come back. That didn't happen for me. I didn't have no spiritual awakening when I had my death experience. So I can't speak to it. And I'm babbling about a lot of this because, like I said, this is a hard topic to talk to because you don't want to make nobody feel. I'm not here to hurt nobody's feelings, but that's the problem. The Bible folks don't, or what I call the Bible bullies, don't give a fuck about hurting nobody's feelings. They don't care about making you feel less than if you don't live up to their holier than thou standard. I've seen so many people talk about, oh yeah, God is so good to me that he made sure all my bills was paid, and I don't work. God worked for me to make sure my bills is paid because I pray and I put my 10% in and I pay my tithes and offerings, and that's why I got this nice house, and that's why all these bills is paid for, and that's why. Now, hey, who am I to tell you if the spiritual world gave you your rewards or not? Because I'm sure, I guess the spiritual world rewards you. But why would your reward be these man-made worldly things? Why? I don't think nowhere in the Bible it says, and I'm not sitting here ignorant. I've been to jail enough times where I probably done read more Bible than some of you churchy folks. But I ain't here for that. This ain't here to have a cross measuring contest. Because it ain't about that. But, I mean, I highly doubt that your reward is these things that don't appreciate with value really. They don't mean much. And then we condemn each other for certain words. And, oh, you cussing, you this, you that. You better not use the Lord's name in vain. And these words are made up. I get it. Words do have power. Words do have power. But words don't really have power. The energy we put into words has power. We give words power with the energy that we put into them. So yeah, you can speak something into existence, but only because of the energy. That's how strong the spiritual world is. Because like I said, man, I ain't sitting here condemning spirituality. The spiritual shit really works. I am condemning people condemning each other because of what God they choose to believe in or which way they choose to live their life. Because we still in Bible times. When did the Bible stop? Right? Everybody talking about all of this stuff that's happening around us right now, and it's the end of the world. Revelations is coming. Why ain't there no other versions of the Bible? The last couple, however many years, the last 2021 years, why ain't no, where's the update at? Everything on this earth has evolved. And I don't mean to sound angry, but I'm passionate about this. Everything on earth has evolved. Everything, lifestyle, technology, weather, the actual earth itself has evolved. Every single thing on the planet Earth has been updated, except the Bible. Except its content, right? It's okay for us to walk around with our nose up and be holier than thou, meanwhile condemn gay people. It's okay for you to be an independent woman and go out and get her own. But the Bible don't say you're supposed to be doing that. And I'm only talking to the Bible bullies at this point. It's a lot of Bible bully women. I'm related to a couple of them. What about those parts in the Bible that tell you, as a woman, you should shut the hell up and obey your man and listen to your man, suck his dick and shut up and never have an opinion? I mean, they don't say nothing about sucking his dick, but I mean, it's there. Hey, whatever. Sorry, I'm trying not to use as much profanity because my mom, I'm pretty sure I might have said it in the episode. My mom be on my head about that. But it's just, this is bothersome. It's bothersome because, and I don't even know if I'm reaching a point right now. I don't know if I'm making any good points. I'm really just venting from my personal experience. Like I said, I grew up in church. I'm not going to sit here and say I was Bible study Wednesday, this. I don't know all the different days of it. All I know is every Sunday that I had to go on the west side of Detroit to go be over my auntie and them family, I had to go to a church. Now, I'm not going to speak on the name of this church because they still go there. And, but I will speak on my experience in it. When I was growing up, my cousins, my sisters, they was in the choir, they was praise dancing, they was doing all. And I was just there watching all the other kids be badass kids. And that just is what it is. Kids are going to be kids, right? I'm watching all the families be families and congregate and judge sister whoever who had the little skirt on and yada, yada, yada. And it gave me a bad taste because I was like, all these people are supposed to be high holy rollers. Meanwhile, all y'all in here talking about each other and pointing fingers and speaking on that, like criticizing each other negatively. And I got to call a spade here. The part of why I stopped believing and walking that line of atheism and agnostics was because my family was some of the main ones talking about people and judging everybody. Meanwhile, we come from a family full of alcoholics and dope fiends. What are you talking about? They might not like that statement if any of them watch this, but I doubt any of them watch it. All I'm averaging is 14 to 25 views a week, an episode, and I got hundreds of cousins, so I doubt they watching it anyway. And not to say they supposed to or they have to. Does not matter to me. It's about, this is what I mean. Religion preaches the word of support and all of this good stuff, and I ain't saying you got to support me in that way. Maybe supporting me is just praying for me. But I ain't even going to sit here and say I need nobody's prayers, because at this point in my life, I pray for myself. And I pray for all of them as well. I pray for understanding. I pray for clear vision. I'm not praying for rewards and money and all. And not to say we don't need it, because everybody needs it for freedom. Everybody needs it for freedom. You need to make the choices you want to make to be able to take care of your family the way you want to. So I ain't saying that you shouldn't have no money because you're religious. Everybody should have some money, in my opinion. Because that's the system that we use to value things. But God ain't give it to you. Maybe he did give it to you. Who do I, like I said, I don't know. God could have gave it all to you. I'm praying to try to get around this speech impediment. I get on here every week with a stutter and a bit of a slur and try to talk. And like it's not chewed up gravel getting around here in my mouth. Pause for saying mouth, I guess. You know. Pray for a lot of things, man. Pray for a lot of things, man. And none of this stuff that we throw stones at each other about should be this serious to where if you don't believe what I believe, then fuck you. And that's the sentiment that I get from a lot of the Bible bullies. Meanwhile, you'll praise all these worldly things that you condemn us for and say God gave them to you. And like I said, I'm not knocking that. I'm happy at my worldliness. Worldly gang. I'm not going to apologize for how I feel about religion. I used to live in Texas, the Bible Belt. You see some things down there. You have all these evangelical white folks who love Jesus but don't like black people. What are we talking about? It's too many oxymoronic shit happening. It's too much oxymoronic shit happening in that whole dichotomy of religion. It just is. And like I said, and I've calmed down a lot in my life, but there was times where I'd exude the ignorance to those people because of how they was making us feel. Like, damn, you make me feel like because I don't follow what you follow, I'm not good enough for God to love me the way God loved you. Even though you praise Jesus and Jesus ain't nothing but a gay white man on a picture, because that Caesar Borgia nigga ain't Jesus. Sorry, gay white Jesus gay white Jesus not real. But you used to get a lot of that in Texas. When you go to Walmart's, I used to live in Houston. Walmart's is on every corner in Houston. And I'm living on the north side too, where, you know, north side, Greens Point, all that good stuff, man. Shout out to Houston. That's my second home. Shout out to the south side, Trey Ward. You would have people like evangelical people walking around selling their homemade crosses, look like something out of Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, like something you're gonna kill a vampire with. And before they would even get to me, I'm cutting you off because I see it in you. You know how you could just see the racism on a person? You know what time it is. When they act certain ways, when they see you, get a little standoffish. Meanwhile, you trying to sell me a cross that your Auntie Ethel made somewhere in a backyard. Nah, I'm good on you and Auntie Ethel's cross. But I'm shutting it down instantly. We not finna have an awkward conversation. As soon as they walk up to me, yo, I worship our son of the morning, our great dark father, Lucifer, morning star. Hail Lucifer, get out my face. Because I don't need all that hypocritical shit in my circumference. Bottom line is this. I'm not condemning the Bible. And most of us spiritual people, we don't condemn it the way they condemn us. I'm condemning the fact that most of the Bible bullies, you unequivocally represent what the very book stands against. Be a better person. Be a good person. Treat people the way you fucking want to be treated. Don't vilify people because they don't agree with you or share your same sentiment. And stop walking around with your nose up in the air like you're a high holy roller and you're better than people, because I don't think spirituality represents being better than people. Man, don't get me to talking. Don't get me to talking, man. It's like I said, it's just, even with going to church growing up, there's certain things that confused me. Like I said, when the church I went to, and like I saw, I didn't understand the tithes, 10%, and pastor living tax free, and the older women, or just the women and the people in the congregation praising pastor and not judging him when he fuck up. Meanwhile, you will look across the road, you will look across at your family member and condemn them for a bad choice. But if pastor make one, God work in mysterious ways, and all of these sayings to exonerate Pastor Deacon Dr. Dove Jenkins from his bullshit, but you can look over at your cousin or your uncle or your brother and talk about whatever they got going on in their life wrong. And it was just that none of that stuff sat well with me. I remember being in church and they had these signs on the wall and this fund that you was donating money to every week to build like some community rec center. Y'all know where I'm going. It was like I don't even remember what it was called. I wish I could remember what it was called. It was like because this is the 90s I'm talking about. This is the late 90s. So it was like the Lever 2000 fund or something. And like, I don't want to condemn these people and talk bad about this church, because outside of me being there in the 90s and me finally saying, yo, I can't take this no more, I'm not going back, I hadn't been back till I went to go until I went to my dad's funeral a couple years ago. So it's almost a good 2 decades. But I know as soon as I heard the funeral was there, we went around the corner. I rode in the family car, but I went to go make sure to look around. I didn't see no bill. And maybe they could have put it somewhere else, but I didn't see Lever 2000 Rec Center nowhere. I didn't see that building anywhere. I didn't look at, I'm like, boy, I know they was talking about trips to Jamaica and Jerusalem and all these big places for Lever 2000, and I don't know if they went, but I ain't seen none of my family members going to the Lever 2000 trip, and I ain't seen a rec center yet. Those type of things didn't sit well with me. Sorry. Hey, man, I'm just being honest. God knows my heart. Everybody kissing their ass to go to heaven ain't going anyway. Yeah, I don't apologize. I'm doubling down on that. Listen, if you come back and cancel me for this, then that means, by God, I've made it. That means I've made it. If you can come back and find this and cancel me, listen, Vic, future Uncle Vic, future Uncle Vanglorious Vic. If by some means you get somewhere and you become established enough to where they can come back here and cancel you, you tell them I said fuck them. Fuck them. You made it. You made it. I'm doubling down. Worldly game. Oh, man. But I ain't going to keep y'all too much longer, man. I just don't like how we are in the era of vilifying each other and trying to make each other look crazy and using our word. I just said this in the last episode. We always using words, and I feel like the Bible has become, or the religion in general, has become a tool for people to perpetuate their bullshit and that be okay. Because God got me. God got me so I can be a dick to you and go back to church and pray and repent and get over it, because God forgives all and he died on the cross for our sins. So that's my escape, to be able to go out here and be a fucked up person to people and fake positive it. That's what it is to me. The whole construct of religion is asinine to me. Everybody, I've always thought it. When you got Niggas walking around here with prayer hands. Only God could judge me, and cross chains on, and rosary beads, and Jesus died on the cross, correct? For our sins, for you and me, right? Why are you wearing a murder weapon? I ain't never seen that happen. I don't see niggas walking around with the chain on of the gun that killed little young XJ9YNW 67, because that's how these niggas' names is nowadays. These niggas' names, they don't have the type of names we used to have. It ain't no Loke Baby, Pistol Starter, Boo Boo, GG. It's like YEW, Elementa, XJ900, Thug Life. Niggas not walking around with the chain on, with a gun, with the knife that stabbed little boo boo from down the street. Like nobody's going to get rosary beads with the knife on there. Why are y'all walking around with the murder weapon of Jesus on you? That makes no sense. But hey, what do I know, right? I don't know. I have no idea, man. None. Please don't come to me with this. Like, just leave me alone, man. I don't want no problems. I don't want no smoke, man. I'm a vegetarian thug. I don't want no beef. I damn sure don't want no problem with them Foucons. None. I didn't just speak a different language. I'm just saying, it's, sometimes, and I don't mean that the religious people is Foucons. Everybody can be a Foucon. If you don't know, let me clarify that for you, because I just be making up words, and I guess that's going to, the Uncle Victionary coming soon or something. But a Foucon, I'll put the spelling here or something so you could definition maybe. A Foucon is an undesirable miscreant. Someone who, the moment they approach you, whether it be on social media or in real life, or the person that you just don't want in your circumference. A person that when they come around, they're Foucons, When they come around, you gotta tell them, get the fuck on, man. Get the fuck on. Foucons, man. Fuccone. Foucons. Uncle Victionary word number 1. Yo, man. Moral of this whole rant is just be a better person. Just try to be. That's all we could do. Pray for everybody and stop vilifying people because they don't identify with your lifestyle. That's not what God is about, man. That's not what spirituality is about. Don't let these books and these organizations, because that's all it is a bunch of Bible bullying gangs. All these organizations and the people that send them, be more accepting. Be more accepting. Be more understanding that everything that you think your lifestyle is supposed to be by these societal measures, because none of us know. And ain't none of us gonna know till we die. Stop pointing fingers at everybody because they don't feel what you feel. We're all weirdos, man. Calling other weirdos. And that's how the story goes. Don't do it for the likes, dog. Like what you do. Uncle Vic out. Praise Jesus.